You know when someone's really excited to tell you something and you want to be invested, but you actually have no idea what they're talking about? I feel like I might have done that to you, so sorry. Up until a few weeks ago, I had no idea what pouring was, and you probably don't either, so let me explain what we've been up to. If we haven't met yet, and I don't owe you an apology, I will introduce myself. My name's Lindsay. I bought a pottery painting studio along with my husband at the beginning of January, and we have been working on learning how to pour our own molds. So first of all, we set up our at-home workshop. Now, when we're getting ready to pour molds, the first thing that we do is get something called slip ready. Now, slip is essentially just liquid clay, so we take powdered clay, we add water and a chemical called Darvan, and then we mix those together using an adapter on our drill. And we pour it through a sieve to make sure it's completely smooth, and we weigh the gravity of it to make sure that it's the right consistency. Next, we clean and strap the molds. Originally, we tried using rubber bands, and it did not go well. A lot of them overflowed, and so we've switched entirely to straps now. All that does is put pressure on it to make sure that the liquid actually stays inside. Next, we pour that slip into the molds, and then we set timers based on the size of the object that we're pouring. The length of time determines how thick that piece gets, so it does require some trial and error to see exactly how long it takes per item. Then we're going to pour out all of that extra slip to give it a hollow inside, and then we're going to let it sit a little bit longer. Sometimes it's 2 hours, sometimes it's 24, just depending again on that mold. And what's happening is the mold is actually pulling out all of the extra moisture from that clay as we let it sit. Then when it's ready, we remove it from the mold and we trim any excess off. We let it dry for another 1 to 7 days till it's completely hard, and then we clean it up by trimming the seams, giving it a sponge bath, and getting it ready to go in the kiln. Once they're ready, they go in the kiln for 30 hours at over 1800 degrees. So that's what we've been doing behind the scenes. Like I said, we officially got over 100 pieces out on our shelves that we have hand poured over the last month. I hope you can stop in at the studio and see some of the pieces that we've created.